Welcome to Around the Kinky Campfire podcast. This is your host, the Cuddle Gigolo, aka El Comidon, aka Mango Boogies, but also known officially as H.H. Julius, your entertainment creative. I'm here with Miss Rue, our education guru, and our goal in this podcast is to destigmatize the taboo topics of kink, non-monogamy, and BDSM. We like to educate through awareness and with our experiences, and we are not certified professionals as of yet. So our non-judgmental topics, with a dash of facts, are to be taken mostly as entertainment and with, some slice of life anecdotal stories. Your opinions, lifestyles, and or way of thinking may not be in alignment with ours, but your opinion, lifestyle, way of thinking is also okay as well. And the fact that you have an opinion is valid. We're not here to change your minds. We are here just to provide a different point of view. Please join us every second and fourth Thursdays of every month, and our episodes are uploaded to all major platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, etc., etc. Please look forward to this coming episode, as we will start shortly, and make sure to especially pay attention to our ASR Minute, which will start very soon. Welcome back, everyone. It is the bonfire that is kinky and non-monogamous, polyamorous, open, switchy, all those things. And we are educators here, but this is the Pillow Fort sessions for Around the Kinky Campfire. And here is your host, El Comidon, Leche McFuffles, Colonel McBee, but most people can call me Julius. It has been a while since I've done one of these. We've had pretty consistent group episodes so far, but I had a topic that came to me a couple of weeks ago, and I've been taking notes and yada, 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 and building up the emotional energy to do this again. But yes, we are almost in the double digits for the Pillow Fort sessions. Getting so close to getting to that milestone. But I have a topic right here that I wanted to talk about very specifically, and also probably joining me for this. So what time it is? Yes, it is the ASMR 5 seconds. It's gone from 30 seconds to like 10 seconds to 5 seconds. I am now today, even though it's a school night, oh yeah, it says oh yeah on the can. I'm drinking a fruit punch sour ale that has a bunch of Kool-Aid, quote unquote, logos on here. No Kool-Aid men, but it says oh yeah from Magnify Brewing in New Jersey. Oh boy, how did I get this? This is a special seasonal 6-pack entrant participant. It's one of the fine wine, not ABC Liquor. It's fine wine. Wind Down, whatever, that place. People local to Florida know what I'm talking about. But it is pretty tasty so far. Fruit punch sour ale. Of course, very sweet, considering. It actually has fruit punch drink mix in here. So I'm guessing, that's interesting. They actually put fruit punch drink mix. Not anything official. Of course, not sponsored, but I'm going to drink it anyway. There's a 6% sour by volume, a pint. But here we go for our ASMR 5 seconds. And a 1, a 2, and a 3. Oh boy. Yeah, that was a quick 5 seconds. Oh boy, hold on. Oh God. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's funny enough it is kind of sweet, but it's not actually super sweet. I don't really taste any beer. It is a school night. My taste buds are dead. I don't taste any beer, and I don't taste any fruit punch. It's very strange. But it is delicious. I would say it's like a watered down kind of like a Crystal Light type deal. Anybody knows, you put like Crystal Light in a bottle. This is more like a 1 liter, so it's very, very lightly tasted. So it's very not hoppy, not super sweet. So it's a good mid. If you don't not a very sweet person, be something for you. But anyways, not sponsored, but yeah, Magnify Brewing, New Jersey. Pretty good. Oh yeah, fruity punch. But we are talking about expectations, specifically in relationships. Because if y'all don't know, Julius, right here, me, I would like to eventually start teaching classes, specifically geared towards the queer community with a little bit of kink and non-monogamy in there. So, and then dating and relationships. So I am getting my sex coach / relationship coaching license at some point very soon. I'm going through the different institutions and applying and seeing what comes back and doing my research and all that. So we'll get there eventually. Maybe I'll start teaching. Yummy, second time around. But I do these pillow forts specifically to, one, touch on topics I'd like to go into a deeper dive in. Two, hear myself talk, because I'm a good talker. Just kidding. And I'm not too nervous with public speaking. Oh, boy, that's sour ale already. The fruit punch getting to me. But I do like to have good material that I'm teaching on. So as we go along here, I'm gonna start teaching and all that. But this is definitely one of the topics that I think is good. Expectations, I believe, are one of the contributing factors. They say like money and sex, but like expectations, people do not talk about them. You have expectations, but you don't talk about them. And you know Julius, he likes his negotiations. I would say this is one of the key negotiating things, because you want to get into a relationship with somebody, and this is not just for like queer folks or non-monogamous folks. Like monogamy, anybody should be doing this. This is one of those things where you think something's going to happen, you don't talk about it, and then you're upset when it doesn't happen. It's like, that's an expectation. Like, really, I don't understand. So I'm going to try to focus expectations, because you can happen in anything. And then I say relationships, but it doesn't have to be like romantic or intimate relationships. You can do this with family and friends as well. We should really not have relationships. I'm going to try to define relationships. I'm going to talk about reasonable and unreasonable, and then let's find out ways to manage and clear them. And so we're going to try to do that all within 30 minutes or so, since I've been blabbering on, but we'll see how this goes. So thank you for being here for my practice session, and I'm on my soapbox. This is Julius here on his soapbox, and I'm going to go ahead and start now. Do that first. Expectations in general are strong beliefs that something will happen or be the case in the future. So I would say a lot of people get this wrong because they have a belief in something, and then they kind of think it's facts with no kind of like background, no research behind it. You kind of just quickly go into an assumption with no kind of backstory behind it. You just kind of go ahead and just be like, oh yeah, this is how it is. It's going to be this way. And you've taken a little bit of information and just kind of made it reality, which is not it. Thoughts are not facts. Okay. You have a thought doesn't mean it's actually true. So yeah, this is what we're trying to clear up here. So with that definition, and then trying to apply it to relationships specifically, because like I said, expectations, they could go wrong in all different kinds of situations. We're going to talk about relationship expectations. Okay? So let's start with reasonable, unreasonable. Unreasonable? Let's start with unreasonable. Now, I'm going to start both of these. I'm going to try to keep it broad as possible, because that's what we do on this podcast. Because we can, like I said, nitpick the hell out of everything. If we really wanted to, we'll be here for hours doing that. But got to keep it general, because we're talking about all different types of people, and hold on. We at Around the Kinky Campfire cater to all different types of folks of different sexual orientations and identities and yada, 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 relationship types, yada, yada, yada. If you have not heard that before and you don't agree or whatever, then this is the wrong place for you, because we are here for everything. We are a very positive podcast. Oh, that's a new slogan. I should write that down. We are a positive podcast. Sex positive, kink positive, relationship positive, because we do cater to non-monogamy, but it's not just non-monogamy. I believe a lot of this stuff is good for the monogamous people as well. But anyways, I'm rambling again because that's what we do here. We're squirrels. Let's start with unreasonable, okay? Unreasonable. These are assumptions and beliefs. So you didn't have assumptions in the definition, but I say relationships. An expectation that you're not going to argue. Which is kind of ridiculous. So no arguments. That's in a perfect world, you would have a relationship go many years for those people that believe in those type of things, that you're not going to argue. That's just ridiculous. I'm going to give my opinion why I give these facts, or these types of unreasonable expectations in relationships. But yeah, that's crazy. No arguments. I prefer like productive discussions rather than an argument. Arguments differ between discussions because, you have all the different raising of the voices, all the symptoms of an argument. But that's just craziness that you're not going to argue in a relationship. You assume that your partner is going to be able to read your mind without telling them what you want and need in a relationship, which is just crazy. Nobody's a mind reader. ESPN is not a thing. There's no psychics out there. I know that, listen, you can have your opinion about psychics, and the unnatural phenomenon, supernatural phenomenon. But yeah, that's for you and whoever you believe in, whatever. I'm not going to comment on that. But in reality, nobody's a mind reader. Okay. I believe in behavioral psychology, so that's reading people's nonverbal tells and tics and all that stuff, but nobody's actually a mind reader. And I'm not trying to do that in my relationship. I just tell you that right now. I will negotiate the hell out of it, and I will say right off the bat, I'm not a mind reader. Just tell me what you want, what you really, really want. And then also, if you have somebody that thinks they're a mind reader, that just leads to overthinking. And we all know what happens when you overthink. You have anxiety. You develop anxiety. You try to predict the future that may or may not be there based on just say what you want about with your partner, and then expect them to be able to just read your mind and give you what you want without actually saying anything. No, use your words. We're humans. We have language. Use your words. Whatever language is your native one or the one you're most comfortable with, use that one. Oh boy, this fruit. Delicious. Okay. Next is be available in distress. So some people are not good at self-regulating. So if you have a partner that you trust and confide in, sometimes you need help regulating. You're in a stressful situation, you're highly anxious. You go in with a partner, if they're there, be available in distress. Let's see. That is unreasonable. So yeah, there's going to be times when you're going to be available for you there. Because once again, we're talking about expectations of relationship. So this is a gray area topic because there's like a 50-50. There's sometimes they're going to be available and sometimes they're not. But don't fault them if they're not available. Maybe they're in distress as well. Okay? So, talk about those things. Don't just assume. Don't have an unreasonable expectation. Talk about the fact when you're stressed, and hopefully you'll know yourself and be very self-aware when you're highly stressed, highly anxious, and be able to talk about your partner. Hey, are you highly stressed and highly anxious in this situation? No? Okay, can you help me regulate in that situation? And that'll help you regulate in a situation where you're highly stressed and anxious. Okay? So, man, I could talk about all these things very much in depth. But yeah, we got a few things to go to. There's about 10 in each, so I'm going to roll through these kind of quick. But yeah, there's each one of these points I could definitely go into a deeper dive. Let me know. Join the Instagram, Kinky Campsters, both with K's, and DM me, and let me know if you want me to talk more about this. But yeah, being available to stress, help regulate. That's a unreasonable expectation, especially if you haven't talked about it. Because you don't know. You might be leaning on your partner to help you regulate, and they're also stressed and anxious as well. People don't talk about these things, but that's why we're here, to point it out for you. So you have these discussions and include it in your negotiations. Okay, next thing is no same-sex friends. Yeah, that's just... man, it's really hard not to make a generalization here, but those of us in the kink and the queer communities and non-monogamy know we have same-sex, no same-sex friends. I must admit, no same-sex friends. I messed some opposite-sex friends. I messed that up. Okay, so yes, that most people cannot have friends of the opposite sex. That's really what I meant to say. So scratch what I said before. No friends of the opposite sex. This is an expectation that people have, and it's like, why? I don't even know how I can talk about this because, especially if you have proven trust in your record, you just make the assumption that your partner can't have a friendship with someone of the opposite sex. Like what? What? I don't understand. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just craziness to me. I don't understand this, and I can make a generalization. I'm not going to, but I'll just say friends of the opposite sex, totally reasonable, and it doesn't have to be like want to get in each other's pants or whatever the general society makes of it, the stereotype, but whatever. That's just ridiculous. I'm just have a hobby outside of your partner. Now, if you negotiate this, and that is what you want to do, then totally. But do not just assume or have an expectation without talking about it that you're just going to spend all free time together and to be mad when your partner doesn't want to spend time with you. Let's have that conversation. That's craziness. Don't, your relationship is not an identity. I'm not so-and-so's partner. No. I'm Julius. Okay? That's who I am. Don't name me and introduce me as my my partner's partner, whatever. Yeah, I'm Julius. No, I'm not so-and-so's partner. That's not how that works. I have a different life. I have my own friends. I spend quality time by myself, which is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just need time with yourself. So just remember that you don't have to spend all your time together. Don't assume that just because you're in a relationship you have to do everything together. That's not a thing. Unless you negotiate that and there's consent. So always remember, consent is sexy. So along with the no arguments thing, you unreasonable to assume that you're always going to be in agreement with everything. Yeah, that's just craziness. You're gonna have a breakdown. You're not gonna agree. You're gonna agree to disagree, and that's totally fine. I would, in my opinion, go ahead and have the discussion with your partner and be like, hey, these are important. These are my boundaries. Woo, fruit punch. And this is what I need out of a relationship. But everything else, you don't need to talk. You don't need to agree on everything. I personally, not very religious and not very political, so that is just not a thing in my relationship. So if I have somebody I don't have the same political, standing as my partner, I really don't care about that. But you should talk to your partner about stuff like that. You're not always going to agree on everything. We're all humans. We all have our own independent thoughts. It's not going to happen. So if you have this expectation that you get with somebody and they're going to agree with it, that's just ridiculous. Okay. Let's see. You assume unreasonably that your partner is always going to have answers to all your questions. I wrote that down because I'm taking notes when I was doing research. That's a weird one for me. It did fall under unreasonable expectations. That one hurt my brain a little bit. So you assume your partner is always going to have answers. Yeah, I don't. How does that even happen? Do your own research. That's why you have most people have a phone that's connected to the internet. Like, do your own research. Don't just assume your partner knows everything. Do it for yourself. So yeah, I'm going to move on to the next one because that didn't make any sense to me. But this one is a big one. This next one, always force your partner to change. So a lot of people kind of have this whole expectation. Oh man, I really want to make a generalization right now, but I'm not going to. That they can change their partner, which is crazy. So, what? How about you just, accept your partner for who they are, and then they have their quirks and everything going on with them, but don't force your partner to change to fit your narrative. That's not how that works. How about you just accept them for who they are with all their quirks, and then, go from there. Now, if you don't agree with the way your partner dresses or how they have their haircut or something, you have to decide for yourself how important that is for you, and then move on from there. It's that's kind of crazy. I don't know what to say about that one. That's that arrogance of man there, thinking you can change somebody else's behaviors and actions. I don't know how you do that there, but I think you do a lot better if you just accepted your partner for how they were. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the next one from there. Then just people make that assumption or reasonable expectation. And lastly, let's talk about initiating sex. That's going to be a whole separate topic right there. But yeah, don't have the unreasonable expectation that you can always get sex. And please remember, your partner has love languages and turn-ons and turn-offs. Please think of them on. And if you want sex from them, probably should talk about that and figure out what it is that actually turns them on, so you can get more sex if that's what you want. Highly sexual person or not. However you negotiate. But yeah, that is an unreasonable expectation to not talk about. Craziness. Okay, so we talked about unreasonable. So let's talk about reasonable here. And also, just so you know, if you listen to the last few podcasts and there was like unfortunate cutting in and out, that is because we are having technical issues and maybe happening for this one, but please bear with us as our production staff. Okay, so moving on to reasonable expectations. These should go a little bit faster because they make more sense here. There's not a lot of brain-breaking stuff like before. First of all is probably the most important. You should be able to trust your partner. If you can't trust your partner, I don't know why you guys are even together in the first place. You don't. Man. Okay, I'm just going to make the general. I've been holding back this whole time. I'm just going to have a generalization. Trust your partner or don't be together. I don't understand that. Don't be with somebody you don't find trustworthy. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And then when I was doing my research, the next one was equal commitment. Try not to give more than you get, but that's a weird one for me. And see, I said I was going to rush through these because they made more sense. But yeah, equal quote unquote commitment. How do you even try to do that? And then fair gets lined up in there. Like, how does that even work? How can you even calculate what's fair? And especially if those of us that are in non-monogamous relationships, fair and equal is going to be even harder. I'm a relationship anarchist, so I don't even know how hierarchical people would even try to calculate what's fair or not with all their different partners between the primaries and the secondaries and tertiaries and all that stuff. I tried to do that early on in my polyamory journey, and that's not possible. Each relationship is its own thing. There's no fair time. There's no fair commitment. There's no fair energy, emotional, intimate attachment. Everybody's their own relationship, and some people don't even want that. So I would definitely, this falls under reasonable, but man, I don't know. This is kind of in between. There's like equal commitment. Try to figure, good Lord, people, have a negotiation. It's not possible. And I see it on Reddit all the time where people are like, oh, what's fair? What's ethical? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, talk to your partner. Why are you asking random people on the internet what's ethical and what's fair? No, have a conversation with your partner. They might not even want that. Okay, expectations, ridiculous. Okay, let's see. Shared affection and appreciation. We're moving on to the next one. You have your, like I said before, love languages. Find out what your partner actually likes as a show of appreciation. Validate your partner. Go ahead and compliments are good. Are good. Yeah. The hard work that they control how somebody's physical. In general, they can't control how they physically come across. You know what I'm saying? I can't be like, oh, thank you for being black. That's not really how that works. Thank you for taking the time to do your research and be a better partner. You're welcome. So yeah, that kind of thing. Let's see. So yeah, shared affection and appreciation. That's how it is. And more specifically, expressions of love. So once again, the love languages will show, just like with it's kind of not the sex thing, but we're talking more like intimacy and emotional connection here and expressions. Talk to your partner, figure out how they like to receive those things. I'm a cuddler, so that is definitely one of my favorite things. If you don't like to cuddle in these specific ways, then I don't know. We'll have to negotiate something else. It might not work out. But yeah, if you're not that type of person, and I know there's kinky folk that don't do aftercare. This is why ONSs, one night stands. It's just not a thing. I need the cuddling, so that's what I am about. And I need I'm demisexual, so I need to have an emotional attachment, or otherwise it doesn't work for me. So yeah, it'd be good to share that kind of affection and intimacy, with the partner you're having or partners. Just, in my personal opinion. All right. Let's see here. And then we talked about sex before. So let's talk about it again. Listen, excuse me. Get divorced with your partner and you don't like your frequency of sex mix matches, and you have different turn-ons and turn-offs. That is just, is a reasonable expectation to have that conversation, because that could be detrimental to your relationship. Have that conversation, but damn it, you should talk about it, because that kind of thing is, you assume people together, they would have that connection, and it would line up, but it's not always the case. People do break up because of that stuff. Happens all the time. So have that conversation, negotiate. And then let's see here. Moving on to the next one. You have mutual understanding and compromise. So this has to do with having the arguments / discussions. You like to assume that your partner understands what you're talking about, and then you can compromise. I don't think that's too crazy. Some of these is like you need to have a discussion. But if you can't come to a mutual understanding with your partners, when you guys have a disagreement, I don't know why you're together. And that is a very harsh generalization by Julius. It just, it happens. But if you can't, number one, trust the person you're with, and you can't mutually understand what they're going through, and then be able to compromise when you have disagreements, why are you together? That's just, boundaries are a thing. Do not bend or break your boundaries. But if you have other things that you don't care so much about, be able to have mutual understanding and be able to compromise on those things. I feel like I'm a very simple person, and it's just like, okay, compromise right into negotiations. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it, and we'll be able to compromise. It seems very simple. And a lot of these things I'm talking about, I'm just going to take a break from what I'm expectation talk here in relationships. A lot of this, we might in the podcast seem like we're our mistakes, and I'm pretty sure Rue would agree with this. But a lot of this stuff takes practice. You got to do it. You got to fail. That's all there is to it. You're going to fail at some things, and some things you're not. And I might make it seem simple, but it's like I didn't know these were a thing at some point. Eventually, I got to the point where I learned so much. I'm like, why do most people not know these things? If I've not said this before multiple times, I like to educate through awareness. This is what Julius does. I talk about these things for people. I started this podcast to try to get the awareness out there. So expectations are a big thing, and definitely negotiate with your partner. Please, people, if you do nothing else, please talk about your wants and needs in relationships. Uphold your boundaries. Do not break them. And there is no problem if you decide to walk away from a situation. There's no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're not getting what you want from a relationship, feel free to walk away. And like people say, there's plenty of fish in the sea. People like to say that. I don't know if they mean it or not, but I mean it. There's always people out there. Tend to your garden. Don't chase butterflies. If you tend to your garden, the butterflies will come to you. Okay, that's my little tangent here. So let me go back here. All right, we got a few more. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna do like one because the other ones kind of meh, whatever. Love languages. This is not one on here, but I'm just gonna kind of summarize all the rest of this here. You have love languages. It's not unreasonable. It is very reasonable to have love languages in common. Please, there are giving love, because if you can't together, especially if you guys do not have similar ones in common, so being able to give and receive your love languages and explain those to your partner is definitely reasonable. You should be able to do that. And then also acceptance, always very much an independent person. Try not to be judgy or try to change them. Once again, do not try to change your partner. That is not a thing. Help them if they need help. Do not, unsolicited advice is a thing. Try to help them if they need help. Please do not try to change your partner, especially if it's unwarranted. That's not a thing. Do not be judgy. Stop judging your partner. Like, what the hell are you doing, people? Should not be judging people that you are in a relationship with. Goodness. Man, that's just goodness. Hey, boy. Okay, let's see here. And then lastly, let's talk about shared kindness and generosity. Saying thank you. Let's just have manners, people. Good Lord. If you cannot be generous, show generosity with your partner, I don't understand. No, don't make assumptions and expectations of people and then also take them for granted. Nobody has to do anything for you. That's not a good expectation to have. Please be generous with your partner. Just say thank you. Just good manners. Thank you and you're welcome. Please. Those things. I can't even say that. Generalization. We all grew up with that. That's just the thing we have. That's the kind of thing we most of us grew up with. Don't take your partner for granted. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Show generosity. That's just a reasonable expectation to have, that you will say please and thank you in a relationship. And you're welcome. Crazy. Couldn't imagine anybody would want to be in a relationship with somebody that never said thank you for something. Craziness. Okay, so we are going over time, even though I rambled on for a bit. So I'm going to try to finish this up and not go too much longer. Before I go into ways to clear wrong expectations, I will also take a note to say that expectations and consent actually are always revocable. Remember that. You can always revoke. If somebody places an unreasonable expectation on you, you can always revoke that. You have the power. I'll say this again. You have the power to revoke that. Do not let anybody place unreasonable expectation on you, especially if they never had a conversation with you. It drives me crazy. Don't have an expectation on somebody. You didn't do your research. You're just doing it purely on your thoughts. Thoughts are not facts. Get the definite facts, okay? Ridiculous. Always revocable. Don't let anybody place unreasonable expectations on you and you just accept it. No. Did we have this conversation? Just ask that person. Did we have this conversation? Did I agree to this? Did I consent to this? No? Then no. Don't have that on me. No, I'm not accepting that. Also, always remember that expectations, yearly, negotiations, weekly, whatever. However you decide to set that up. Have a negotiation, have negotiations. Have that discussion. Expectations are always changing. You don't know what this person, especially if they're unreasonable, where are they getting this information from? So always check in with each other. You could, this is ridiculous. And you know what? This next one, never buy the book. Don't even listen to me when I'm talking about expectation. Why you even listen to me at this point? Make your own expectations. Hopefully they're all reasonable. Have a conversation with your partner. It's just, that's how it is. Just have a conversation with your partner. Don't listen to me. Have your own thing. Negotiate with your partner. If nothing else, if you don't listen to anything in this whole discussion that I'm having with you, have a negotiate with your partner. Just ignore everything else. Negotiate with your partner. How about that? Just talk about what your wants and needs are. And everything else you can just ignore. Ignore this whole entire episode right now. If you want to. I mean, it's probably cutting it in and out anyway. Hopefully it made sense when it just cuts with all the different cuts in there because we're having technical issues. But yeah, please, hopefully this comes across. Have a conversation with your partner. Discuss your wants and needs. For the love of God, people. People get into relationships and have all these kinds of expectations and don't talk about it. I don't understand. Okay. Rant over. Now, I'm going to finish up with ways to clear wrong expectations, okay? So we've clearly defined what unreasonable expectations are, what reasonable expectations are. So you've already made some wrong expectations. So I'm going to quickly go through how to clear those up, very vaguely, but I'll give a couple of examples for each one. Okay, so first one is direct communication. Don't talk around the subject. No hinting. Don't beat around the bush. Get to the point, okay? When you're having a conversation, you started the negotiations. Direct communication. Don't use euphemisms, blah, 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 blah. Get to the point of what you want. Hey, I want sex every Tuesday. Oh, okay. Do you agree or disagree? Do you okay? We can come in a relationship. Be able to compromise in between. Hey, I can't do Tuesday, but I can do Wednesday. How about this? Be direct in your communication. I like my feet rubbed. That's a need. That's a need you have. Wash the dishes. I cook. You wash the expectations right there. Be direct with your communication. Also, these are these actually are not too dissimilar from each other. All dealing with communication that people need to have. Please, for the love of God, or whoever you believe in, have a communication. Have a discussion with your partner on these different things. And then, secondly, you want it to be clear. Have clear communication. Be direct. Be clear. Describe things well. Be specific. Make sure what you're saying is not confusing. Oh, Lord, please, people. Have some self-awareness about what you want and need in a relationship and be able to tell your partner what it is and have it not be confusing. This is going to take some self-work. That'll probably be another episode I'll do, self-awareness training, because there's a bunch of stuff in there, too. If you don't know what you want and need in a relationship, how are you even getting in successful relationships? I could not imagine any of them going badly. Once again, generalization by Julius, but I don't understand how that even works. Okay, direct communication, clear communication. Third, specific communication. Give necessary info and include details. Like I said, a lot of these ways to clear up wrong expectations are similar. Have specific communication that is the same. Oh, well, I can't say it's not the same. Very close to direct and clear. Give necessary info. Don't inflate the details. But if you need to do that, then you need to do that. Communicate. These are all communication. Communicate. Also, fourthly, be honest with your communication. Don't say something you don't think or feel. Match the facts. Honest is factual. Feelings are not facts. Thoughts are not facts. Keep to the facts. And be honest about what you want. That goes into the trust thing. Like I said, number one, about reasonable expectations. To be able to trust your partner. Otherwise, I don't understand why you're in a relationship with them. I don't get it. That's my opinion. Almost judgy. I'm not trying to judge, but it is. Oh, man. Why be in a relationship with somebody you don't trust? Be honest with your communication, especially when you're in negotiations. Not really a jokey time when you're doing negotiations. Try to be serious, in my personal opinion, and be honest about what you want. Just say it. No, we're not mind readers. We already talked about this. Nobody is a mind reader. If you don't say what you want, how's your partner going to know? It's not a thing. It's not doesn't make any sense. And then lastly, be tactful. Don't be mean. Be kind. Think about others before you're speaking. Don't be hurtful and be considerate. This is a partner that you wish to be in a relationship with. Don't be mean to them. Why would you do that? So when you're having this expectation talk, that's just the last of the fruit punch. Magnify brilliant. Oh, yeah, sour. And I think I'm rambling on enough. We're going on the 40-minute mark or so. But yeah, I think that was a good talk. That was pretty good. I'll just pat myself on the back. Hopefully that helped you. Hopefully you're now aware. Got some new information on there. If you would like to, just congratulate me, tell me I did a good job, come to Instagram and go find Kinky Campsters. That's where we're at. DM me. We like subscribers, so let me know what you're specific for all the different things. It seems like Apple's leading the charge, though. But thank you for all the downloads. I got to go to the specific thing to see who's actually streaming this. But thank you to those people as well. This is Julius, and this is me talking about expectations and relationships. Hopefully you learned something new once again. Got a definition, got some examples of reasonable and unreasonable, and then ways to clear it up. Communicate, negotiate, and consensual cake. Okay? This is Julius with the bonfire that's kinky and non-monogamous, a.k.a. Around the Kinky Campfire. These are the Pillow Fort sessions. And I'll catch you next time. Hopefully we can do these at least once a month now that we've got a group schedule going. But I just felt like I needed to. I was talking about here, expectations are a big thing. And then we can talk more specifically about different things. Thank you for being for my education class practice. And I will see y'all, hear y'all, be downloaded by y'all next time. Hello.